I'm not saying Senator Mitchell's report is entirely wrong. I am saying Brian McNamee's statements about me are wrong. Let me be clear. I have never taken steroids or HGH. Thank you.
That was former big league pitcher Roger Clemens nearly 5 years ago, denying he ever used steroids or human growth hormone to enhance his baseball career. Clemens and the two other men on your screen all became ensnared in controversies about whether they used illegal performance-enhancing drugs. We're about to find out whether the 600 people who comprise the Baseball Writers Association of America think any of these players has earned the sports equivalent of immortality. The Hall of Fame vote announcement an hour away. In many ways, the first major judgment on baseball's steroid era. Let's talk about it with Fox News contributor Jim Gray and Danny Venezia. He is a former minor league baseball player who makes his living teaching kids the right way to play the game. Also the author of Coach Dan on Sportsmanship. All right, so Jim, what about it? You're not voting in the Hall of Fame vote, but if you were, does any of these guys deserve to be in?
Well, based on their accomplishments, yes. The problem is that they were great players who enhanced their performance and had greater accomplishments because they elected to go down a route which is cheating. And so, no, they will not get in, and if you believe the surveys that have been taken of the voters, they're going to have less than 50% of the vote.
Well, and you got to have 75% to make it in on any ballot. They've got 15 years. Is baseball going to perhaps reward them at some point down the road?
Well, they've already been rewarded by the institution, in my opinion, because their records stand. I mean, if you go back and look at it, Bonds has the most home runs ever, 7 Cy Youngs for Roger Clemens. So they've been rewarded by the institution. So I guess at some point, the baseball writers will look at this, and I think at some point they will be in the Hall of Fame. They have Hall of Fame careers, but they're damaged, they're stained, because you have to have integrity, sportsmanship, and character. That's part of the criteria, and this doesn't meet that standard.
Danny, does any one of these players deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Not if they took the performance-enhancing drugs. My main concern is the negative impact and influence it's had on our youth. These professional athletes are role models. Millions of children have taken steroids, and it's unfortunate, but we need to teach the children the right way to play, the fair and honest way. So we should take a value-based approach to coaching our children as parents, as teachers, as educators, and certainly the professional athletes. We should ensure that they learn those life skills that they'll need long after they stop playing the game, such as fairness, honesty, respect, compassion.
But let's take a look at Clemens, though, for instance. He was acquitted. He went, he testified in front of Congress, said, I never used steroids. He got taken to court for perjury, and he was acquitted, Danny.
Right, he was acquitted, and unfortunately, he may or may not have taken the steroids, but again, the focus here is on the children. This win-at-all-cost mentality that is taking place in the big leagues has trickled down to the lowest levels. We have parents going after coaches because they don't like that the player's not getting enough playing time. Coaches going after officials. There's yelling, there's screaming, there's profanity, there's cheating. We should teach our children that it's better to fail than it is to cheat. And we should create winners the fair and honest way.
Jim, what about that?
Well, yes, but there's been a mantra in professional sports for a long time: if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And that's just what goes on these days. And everybody, it's a vicious struggle to be number one, and they all want to be number one. The money is so great, the adulation. And a lot of times, guys aren't thinking about the long term. They're not thinking about how they're damaging their reputation and damaging their legacy. So this doesn't come into play. There have been several surveys that have been taken by Olympian athletes, Olympians, who've been asked, would they rather have a shorter life or would they rather win a gold medal? And overwhelming the numbers in the 80 percentiles, 90 percentiles, comes back they'd rather win a gold medal. So it's going on, it's rampant across the system. They figured out ways to beat the system. Look at Lance Armstrong. He never tested positive according to the drug testers, and he won seven championships. So they're always a step ahead. And I hear what you're saying about teaching the kids, but these kids are learning so many different other things, and it's hard to reel it back in. At some point, they're going to have to.
You got to start somewhere. I think that's Danny's point. Jim Gray, Danny Venezia, thank you both. We'll see what the voters announce in an hour.
Thank you, John.